stuff from his voice.
Alexa, set an alarm for 25 minutes from now. Hey everybody, we are here today. We're going to talk about our new book. We are super excited about it. It's Kevin Hart. And all I'm going to say is sometimes it's hard to get reading a book, but then it becomes so easy as it becomes interesting. And just like Trevor Noah, just like Gabriel Union, just like Michelle Obama, just like so many authors, when you're used to just reading nonfiction or romance or a certain type of book and you're not used to reading like about people and their successes and failures in life, which is what I never used to do.
Yes.
I used to just read like, really, I'm just going to keep it 100. All I used to read was Harry Potter. No, Patterson. What's Patterson's name? James Patterson. I like murder, mystery, romance. And Lee Child, because that dude, he was like my boyfriend, but he didn't even know it.
I'm more into the true, based on true life events.
Okay.
Like when somebody murdered their whole family and the whole case.
What did you used to read?
I love those true stories.
I read autobiographies.
Yeah,
I read real crime stories.
That's what I like.
Yes, I think I just downloaded one about some New Yorker crimes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I also read Patterson and Lee Child.
I love them. Like I was so prejudiced towards them, it was ridiculous. Like I feel bad about it now. But I'm just saying, we read these books because we want to inspire people to read. So we try to read about people that you might have known or heard about, and then you can read their story, and then you might be interested in it because it's more modern culture. Because some people think reading is like so just a woman thing, or just so not, what does it mean, like not trendy?
It's not trendy. They don't feel the need to pick up a book or anything. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're picking up a book, reading it on Kindle. Just read and enhance your mind.
Yes.
I mean, just
you
take
learn
yourself
so
away.
much.
You learn.
I really learned so much more about reading about individuals and their inspiring stories than I ever did reading a Patterson book or a Lee Child books. I'm just being honest. And I'm not dissing those authors. Like, I love them. I still read them. I don't bring it here because I like to bring real inspirational stories to you guys, because I want to inspire people. And I want to get people out of the box that used to be in a box, like how I was in a box. And I think the only person that I never was in a box was my mom, but I definitely was like a box person because I got burnt out of school. Like I went to school for so long that when I was done with school, I only wanted to read things that weren't real. Does that make sense?
Anything intellectual.
I was like, I only want to read crime and romance. That's it. That's all I want. But we're just here because we want to encourage you to read. We really see like the value in reading, and we want other people to see that value too, because there's nothing like growing when you're able to grow through other people, because that's just like a heartache you really don't have to go through. And it makes you appreciate like people in society, and it makes you realize like people are more than just what you think their first impression is. Because we're always told like, follow and trust your first impression. Well, you might meet somebody on the worst day of their life and you're following this first impression, and he or she may end up being like a all-star pro, and you're just treating them the worst because
from that one
your one impression. So we're just saying like, give people a chance. You'd be surprised who can inspire you. I mean, I get inspired every day by all different types of people, and trust me, all different ages of people too. I get inspired by people that don't even go to school yet. I'm just like, wow, I'm amazed that you are like putting this together. So, but that's enough. Like I just wanted to talk a little bit about how we all got to this point, like what we all used to read. Like obviously I pick people to read with me that enjoy reading, because we have to read these books to come to you. But Kevin Hart, first of all, I love him.
Yes.
Do you love him?
I do.
He makes me laugh so hard.
I'm like reading the book in his whole voice. It's like the book is like one big stand-up comedy routine.
It is.
And I'm like trying to turn the page to see what the joke is, but I'm like, I just can't. I could picture that he went through the stuff that he went through in childhood and stuff, with him being short and everything, but the way that he brings it across on these pages, he just always has so much confidence and stuff. I mean, literally in the book.
Written well too, I think.
He
very well.
Wrote it
written
really,
very well.
really good. I mean, really.
Small chapters so anybody could read it.
Yes.
Even people that have busy lives.
Yes,
Read a little
read
chapter
a
at a time.
in 5 minutes and keep going with it and stuff. By the time you turn around, you know, read an hour's worth and done read 20 chapters. You know, it's real page turning. You will keep reading it once you start.
So before we even get into Kevin Hart, which we are going to get into in a minute, I want to talk about one topic from our last book, Gabriel Union, because I feel like we didn't talk about it, but it was so important. It was the Prince thing. Remember, we didn't even talk about that. That was so important. Like, Prince is the type of person. Prince passed away, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there are no more Prince parties, but do you remember the Prince thing? Okay, so I'm just going to touch real quick on this because I think this is important. Prince was the type of person that would spontaneously put people in a room together that could benefit and help each other out.
Interact with each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Advance you. Get you in a room.
Other parties, it was like a click here,
Yes.
a click there.
Yeah,
So,
everybody-
but Prince,
yes.
they mingle and didn't matter if they were
He
white,
shared his
brown, or
success.
mixed or whatever. You know, they were
Yes.
all, you know, associating with each other.
Yes.
Gabriel Union, Gabriela Union, she was lucky enough to get invited to these parties, which would be like, that day you'd be like, hey, there's a party, you are invited, don't even think about bringing nobody but yourself, because you're the only person invited, and then you would be in a room with people that do music, do films, are directors, connections, like all these people that you can connect with that will help you advance your career
Yes.
are in this room now at this party, and you have this opportunity to sell yourself and to be a joy around them so that they can speak positively about you.
Yes.
And the one thing she said in the book is she regrets that she never asked Prince what he saw in her
What he
to
saw
send that
to
first
send that
invitation.
first invitation to her, but apparently he's seen something.
Yeah, and I just think like it is like an important thing. Like sometimes when you're feeling down or out and you feel like you are in an awesome circle, go ahead and ask people what they see in you, because you never know when you're going to get that opportunity to do that. And people do see like the best in you, even when you don't see the best in yourself.
Exactly.
And it's good to hear like how people love you. Like, I wish we would have talked about it when we read our book, but I didn't want to go on to this new book till we talked about that part, because I just feel like if you don't get anything else out of that book, that part was so awesome.
That was really meaningful right there, because I mean, she wasn't even
Yeah.
aware. Why would he choose me? And it just happened, and everything just fell into place and started.
And they said it was
moving
super
forward.
fancy and great. Like you go there and it'd be like the best food. It'd be like the
Everything.
best atmosphere. It'd be like the best little rented house, or you know. And he always was like one to talk about. So he was a Jehovah Witness.
Yeah.
So he would do his little Jehovah Witness thing, and then, but he was one that wasn't like so about his religion that he turned people off. Like he would do his thing and recognize who he was, and then he would like just create this inclusive environment where he just kept bringing people together that could do a beautiful thing with one another.
Yes.
And I just was like, I wanted to mention that because Prince is dead, and it's a shame. He was a wonderful artist, and I just don't think people realize like how much he did beyond his music. He put so many people together.
I wouldn't have never knew that without reading the book and stuff, because I really thought that he was just musically inclined, and they always said that he was pretty much a shy person, wasn't really outspoken per se, but you know.
Then you don't think you understand like how he has these parties, because they tell you he's so shy and he's so selective,
Yes.
but really he was still doing things for people all the time.
Yes. Exactly.
So we're gonna go to Kevin Hart, but I wanted to mention that because I felt like we didn't mention everything about Gabriela Union or Nikki, but that is like such a special thing, and she was so privileged to have that experience. I just wanted to mention it.
She put it in her book for a reason.
Yeah.
It touched her.
Mom, do you want to read the introduction thing?
To my mom, my rock, my angel. I am who I am because of you. My commitment to my craft and to becoming the best version of myself is all because of you. The lessons that you have given me are beyond priceless. For that, I thank you.
Yes. And I think like
His
when
mom was tough, but
Yes, she was.
she was
She
like
was
the
playing.
ultimate definition of tough love. But I don't think he realized how awesome she was until he got older and he started to understand her reasoning a little bit.
She paved the way. Like when I'm reading this, I reflect on it and I'm like, should I have beat the mess out of should I have thrown knives at them, picked up a frying pan and hit them, and maybe I'll have a little Kevin Hart,
But I feel like there is so this is how I feel about tough love. I feel like tough love with a purpose to get your children ahead is one thing. Tough love out of
meanness is
out of like you trying to make life easy for yourself
or taking your problems out on somebody. That's not the right way, but showing them and leading by example to make them want more out of life and not just handing them. That's what I'm getting out of this book.
I feel like she was right on point. Trevor Noah's mom used to beat the mess out of him too, but that man is just fine. He's on the Daily Show. Check him out. He's awesome. So I feel like when you do tough love and you love your kids, that's a totally different thing. Davida, do you want to read this little thing here?
Let him who would move the world first move himself, Socrates. And a sliding board can't be slid on if you ain't got on the right pants. Chocolate dropper.
So I love that. So I feel like what he's saying here is like, you got to work on yourself before you're expecting something from the world.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the other part is like, life just got to make sense. Like you can't want to slide and then have on booty shorts and you can't slide down that slide. I don't know, but this is what I got out of it. What'd you get out of it?
I got that.
I don't mind helping someone if they're willing to help themselves, and not just sitting there and expect you to
do everything.
Rescue them and do everything,
So it has like a mandatory introduction, but we're not going to read that, but do read that when you get this book. We're going to go right to Life Lessons from Dad. This is a super cool book to read if you're a busy mom or a busy worker or just a busy person, because it's just like 3 or 4 pages a chapter. So you can read 3 or 4 pages, stop. Read 3 or 4 pages, stop. It's easy to read if you don't have like a ton of time at a time. So
don't do what I do. Do what I would tell you to do if I wasn't doing the stupid stuff I did.
So that's what he tells us about his dad. That's like, when you read the book, you'll get where we're coming from and what we're laughing about. But some things you just have to enjoy.
Yes.
So I will say this, like, his mom and his dad were together. They weren't married. They
weren't married.
They tried.
2 children by this man. And Kevin was an accident.
Yes.
His dad told her his nuts didn't even work. She couldn't possibly be present. His nuts is broke.
So, Davida, do you want to read Life is a Story on page 7?
Life is a story is full of chapters. And the beauty of life is that not only do you get to choose how you interpret each chapter, but your interpretation writes the next chapter. It determines whether it's comedy or tragedy, fairy tale or horror story, rags to riches or riches to rags.
Go ahead.
You can't control the events that happen to you, but you can control your interpretation of them. So why not choose the story that serves your life the best?
And I feel like this is so important.
That's well written.
Yes, I feel like this is the same with Gabriela Union. She gave us these stories. He is giving us these stories. But what they're also telling us is, at the end of the day, it's about how you interpret your life. It is your opportunity to be positive or it's your opportunity to be negative. And he was, what did he say? He's a shoulder shrugger.
He's a shoulder shrugger. He shrugged
He was like, okay, this is the craziest thing I ever heard, but I love you and we're going to keep it moving.
He just shrugged everything off and it worked just fine for him.
Because it kept him from hating situations. Because the reality is, sometimes life makes you hate situations that you go through, but that doesn't mean you have to give up on your life. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just what I came up with. On page 9, Mom, do you want to read I Suppose? Oh, this is like Blessing the
Blessed Life of a Genius.
Chapter 2.
Okay. I suppose that was only my first life lesson. That what's here today may be gone later today. Nothing is permanent, especially my father.
Yes.
On a day I was too young to remember, he disappeared for 4 years.
And then later on it explains that, but I feel like this is just like something Trevor Noah told us about too, when he was talking about his 2 dogs, about how he loved this dog, and then he realized this dog went to somebody else's house and he was there loving that family too. And he was like, what the hell? So that was his first lesson to love. Like, just because somebody loves somebody else, that doesn't mean they don't love you. It just, life is so complicated.
Life is full of
intertwangled. Yeah, like, just simmer down and do you. I have this part highlighted on page 13. You want to read that? It starts with, but I think. Yeah.
But I think that I was born with a gift, the shoulder shrug. For as long as I can remember, I've had the ability to shoulder shrug things, to just accept them, say, okay, and get on with my life. The opposite of shoulder shrugging would be to get depressed or angry and to hold on to those emotions for the rest of my life. But for whatever reason, whether it was because my father was matter of fact about the heaviest stuff, or God put something in me, I've been able to take in all kinds of experiences and information and process them without holding on to any negative emotion afterward, even at a young age. And that's good.
And I just feel like people, when you mature, you get part of that statement inside of you, because you start to realize, like, you can't hold grudges, you can't be a hater. Like, you just have to, like, accept people for where they're at in their path and not think the best of them, I'm not even saying the best. Do think the best of people. Don't think the worst of people, but just keep it moving and just keep working on yourself, because at the end, you are responsible for your emotions and the things that you go through. Yes. Don't you think? Yeah. Moody, I was going to have you read page 15. Go ahead.
But my dad didn't live in the world of reason. He was a firm believer in the go-ahead school of parenting. Whatever we asked to do, he'd just say, go ahead.
So this is a situation where Kevin Hart, I think this is the boat thing, right?
He wrecked the boat. Drive the boat,
Yeah, the boat sped up and bam, smacked into another boat. I destroyed both boats. All my dad had to say was, damn it, boy, you did this one bad. He didn't seem surprised. He didn't even seem pissed off. It was like I'd knocked over a cheap vase.
He wrecked 2 boats.
He told the guy who rented the boat from, my son done fucked the boat up. So we'll figure it out.
Oh my God. And of course he never returned to that place. That's how he figured it out.
As best I can tell, what my dad figured out was to never go back there again.
And it's like his dad has that shoulder shrug mentality as well. He's like, come on, son messed that up. Yeah, we'll take care of it, and never went back. But it's like, in the parts I've read, his dad hasn't really gotten hostile and stuff. Even when he was getting jumped on, he like, y'all go home, I'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, really, it seems like the mother played the more dominant role. Like he said, his father only might have hit him upside the head one time, but his mother now.
Because there was no discipline with his dad. Mm-hmm. His dad was just like, hey, we're going to go enjoy ourselves today. Whatever you do, that's what you do. Mm-hmm. And I'm hopefully going to drop you off without having your mom get mad at me, and that's that. So I want to read one other part on page 16. And this kind of describes a little bit of how he interacted with his dad too. You can start it. This is how my father concluded the story.
This is how my father concluded the story. Coincidentally, a couple of weeks later, that sucker was found dead. I don't know nothing about it. This is how I responded. Dad, I don't want to know nothing about it either.
So that just kind of like showed like their interaction and how his dad brought a lot of heavy adult stuff to a kid that was like, I think he was like 5 years old in this part of the book or something. You know, like he was not, his dad just came at him heavy and real and about realistic stuff, not in like the best way possible, but just like not sugarcoating anything, but just like not really getting in details about it. And then Kevin Hart just learned to be like, well, I don't need no details to accept the story either.
And he brought him the toys and there were no prizes.
Yeah, no price tags on it. He'd bring him the bike he wanted.
At the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
Come get him.
No price tag on it. He'd get him stuff that he wanted, but it was stolen. No price tags on it. The bicycle he wanted, and his mom will always make him give it back. So, you know, that just goes to show you that everything you want is not needed.
I'm I'm going to let my mom read on page 19 a couple of things.
Every right you take leads you leads you closer to your best possible destiny. Every left leads you further from it away. These forks are not just decisions that lead to actions, like saying yes to a job offer, but thoughts that lead to beliefs, like blaming your father for ruining your life. Mm-hmm. Your life today is the sum total of your choices. So if you're not happy with it, look back at your choices and start making different ones.
Exactly.
So that's so important, like when you grow up, to not hold grudges against people. And then, Davida, do you want to read, I've made a lot of rights?
I've made a lot of rights that led me to where I am today, and choosing to appreciate my crazy ass father was one of them. I also made a lot of lefts in the following years that hurt and limited me. One of my goals in life is to learn from my lefts so I can make more rights, so I can take more rights.
And that's just saying, like, I'm going to take responsibility for my path because I'm walking that path.
Yes.
Regardless to how people contribute, at some point in your life you have to take responsibility for the path you're walking and the choices you're making. And I love that he brings this into the book because it's an important thing, especially for young people. So that's lessons from his dad. Boom, we're done with that. Now we're going on to his mom.
Lessons from mom.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so on page 23, Davida, if you want to start off with, I have like 3 lines. It's become my mother.
It's because my mother wouldn't let me. Growing up, I was terrified of her. She was more intimidating than any gang, so there was never a life of crime in the cards for me.
We can just stop there. But he needed that though, because they lived in the worst area. He had, what did they say? It was like not a good area where they lived. She was scared because her other son had made
steps in a 1-bedroom apartment, 31 steps leading up to it, and she wanted the best for Kevin because his brother went down the path that his father was going down. She could slowly see his brother creeping into the path that his father went down.
When he was 17, his brother had to make the choice to go to the juvenile place or go in the military.
Yeah.
He went in the military, got his life straightened out.
And he made a right turn. He made a right turn.
Yes.
So Mom, I'm going to have you read just this one sentence right here. You have to lock your locks up.
Oh, here. You had to lock your locks up at night. My brother soon became part of...
You have to lock your locks up at night. Yeah, okay. They were just saying, like, the neighborhood was so rough. It wasn't just like you had to lock your door. Then you had to lock the locks that you locked your door with. I wanted to read that to let you know, like, he's just keeping it 100 about how he was, the environment he was raised in, and it was a rough environment.
He said, we lived in an area where anything that wasn't locked up was stolen, and anything that was locked up was stolen.
So any which way you're getting robbed.
Exactly. So on page 26, I'm going to let Davida read that first introductory to chapter 7.
I have a reputation as a guy you don't want on your side in a fight because as soon as it looks like someone's about to be hit, I run. I like keeping my teeth inside my mouth.
This is important because so many young people want to resort to violence. Like when you have to be violent, I get it. Sometimes you have to stand your ground. You gotta, not let people bully you or punk you.
Yes.
But other times, you can choose a different route. Kevin Hart a lot of times chose, I'm a funny guy. I'm just gonna make a joke out of this and keep it moving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna handle you if I have to. But I'm going to try to first
avoid.
Make a joke out of it or avoid it or keep it moving. And then if I can't because you keep bullying me, then I'm going to
laugh.
Yeah, I'm going to carry on.
Fight when they laughing.
So Mom, you want to read 27, defend?
Defend yourself at all times. Don't let nobody mess with you. If you don't stand up to them, they'll just keep bullying you. And it will get continually worse as they push to the edge of what they can get away with. However, if you stand up to them and they feel fear after knowing what you are capable of, they'll find someone else to belittle. Even if you lose or get beaten up, at least you can go to bed at night knowing you are not the kind of person who tolerates being pushed around.
So I just want to read that too. Like he wasn't a punk. Like he stood up when he needed to stand up, but he wasn't his first option in most situations because he was like 5'4".
Yes.
So let's keep it 100.
Yeah, when he thought his mom would be mad at him, I came home and told
Okay,
my
she
mom
said that.
everything. I expected her to be furious, but to my surprise, her first response was sympathetic. You should always stand up to bullies, she said, but you need to find other ways besides fighting. I can support violence.
And I like this in her. Like, even though she was kind of violent with
She was
Kevin
violent,
Hart.
but she wasn't supported.
Yeah, but she
Only
wasn't
violent
like-
when it's needed.
Yeah, she was like not supporting him to be violent, which I thought was awesome. So I wanted to, okay, we only got 5 minutes. So I'm gonna try to finish up this mom chapter. Can we even do it?
Mama's boy?
This book's gonna be something too because I just love it.
Really good.
We're gonna just read some captions and see what we can do. Alexa,
I
stop the
like
alarm.
this part.
Set an alarm for 3 minutes from now. Okay, so now I'm just gonna. What do you want to talk about in chapter? What do you have highlighted? Alexa, stop.
I highlighted. It turns out that things I hated most as a child are the same things that served me the most as an adult.
Amen.
So that touched me right there because you as a parent tell your children what to do and tell them the right things to do, and at times they don't want to listen, or they'll listen but they don't know why. They don't understand why you're telling them to do this, why they need to do it this way and this and that. But later on in life, you'll see it's like parents are not trying to steer you in the wrong direction at all. They're trying to push you down the right path. And that stuck out to me because he was so mad his mom made him go to swim practice. She was a single mother. She kept him super busy so he wouldn't be able to be out in the streets hanging with gangs and this and that and stuff. So he didn't have not an inch of free time or whatever. And he learned to value that as he got older. He was able to sit at a movie set and for 4 hours just for a 30-minute scene. You know
It
what I'm
made him
saying?
patient.
Yeah, and discipline.
Discipline with
Yes.
his
Self-discipline.
time management.
So we're gonna go to page 38. My mom's gonna read something.
Since preventing a beating was a matter of survival, I learned to use charm to manipulate Miss Davis. It turned out to be one of the first things in life to come easy for me.
Alright, so like he had a babysitter till he was 16 years old, and that was Miss Davis. And he learned to kind of how to manipulate her through charm to get a little bit of freedom from her. Because he definitely didn't want to be in trouble.
Took the bike
Didn't
ride
want her
to
to
come
tell
back.
mom.
Unless you have something highlighted, let's go to 42 and read People Say.
People say that when it comes to gift giving, it's the thought that counts. Don't believe them. It's the gift that counts.
Because he had his mom, remember the tights?
Yes, he
Oh,
wanted the
my
Michael
Jesus.
Jordan
Yes.
tights to wear under his shorts because he played basketball. Now, mind you, he's 5'4", but he played all the way through high school, made the varsity team. So I believe he was a really good player, but later on in life, he didn't grow any taller.
It ended at some point.
Yes.
So this is what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you be mom, and I'm going to have you be me.
Oh.
Davida, you want to start? We're going to read the whole little narrative there.
I don't know what these people are about. I'm not letting you go off with a bunch of strangers to get left behind accidentally or get caught up in gang activities.
But he's my friend. He's a good person. So is his dad. They would never do that.
I said no. And I mean no. End of discussion.
I'm sick of this. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to live here. I want to live with Dad. He lets me do whatever I want.
Then go!
Whew.
Go live with your dad.
What?
You heard me. Is that what you want to do? You're free to go.
Okay.
So I'm just, and we're going to end it at this
Does it remind you of something?
Yes, I highlight this part because my older brother pulled this crap with my mom, and my mom packed his bags and took him to the bus stop, and he was going to go live with our dad, which wouldn't have been a great choice for him. Alexa, go ahead and stop the alarm.
He was screaming.
So we're going to stop on page 45, but the end is just like how he goes to his dad's house, how it's super crazy and dysfunctional, how they don't even have hot water, how it's 50 people living in a room,
Dog
doing all
shit
kinds of things.
everywhere. Animals, raccoons, dogs standing
And it
there.
made him realize, like, what a good home he had with his mom that he thought wasn't great at all once he realized how his dad lived who bought him all these fancy hot gifts.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Not
You would
bought it,
rather
he
be-
stole it somewhere.
So we are going to carry on. Like, We're gonna try to do this in 3 sessions. You know, we meet every 2 weeks. I definitely
Chapter
recommend that you
13.
get this book, Kevin Hart.
A winner.
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna only be able to enjoy so much of it with you because
We want you to experience it for yourself.
Yeah, so if we get through the book, we get through the book. If we don't, we don't. I'm not even reading everything I have highlighted. There's so much stuff in here that I think is valuable as a young adult. I would say again, like this book right here is for high school kids.
It's
Don't you
good.
think?
I think
Some
it
of the stuff
really
might be
is.
too young for a middle school kid. I don't know. It depends on how you're raising your